Hey, viewers, George here to do a first impression. Bleh. Bleh. First impression video thing, and obviously, if you read the thing up here, it's up there somewhere. I'm talking about this little game right here. This little unknown game here called Little Big Planet Karting. But on a serious note, Little Big Planet Karting. If you don't know what Little Big Planet is, probably means you either don't have PlayStation 3 or you don't care about PlayStation 3. Or something. Okay, so Little Big Planet Karting. Basically what it is, it's a spin-off. I guess it would technically be a spin-off, but not really, because it doesn't really spin off. It contains itself in the selfness. Basically, if you ever played Little Big Planet, the whole point of Little Big Planet is obviously they don't even have it on this. Create, share, and play. Play, create, share, play. Play, share, create. So the whole point is you play these levels, whether they're made from the game or people make them. You create your own levels, and then you share your own levels, and it's just a lot of fun. I really like it. My own problem, though, with the Little Big Planet 1s and 2s and PSP Vitas, is creating your own levels is a little daunting. I mean, like, you see all the stuff that you can do with it, you've seen what other people can do with it, and you're like, how can I, wow, where do I even start, sort of thing. So, now speaking with about Little Big Planet Karting, which is basically Little Big Planet, but instead of platforming being the main focus, you're kart racing. So you're in like a little kart, you go around driving, and on top of it, it's the first time the Little Big Planet series is officially, or technically, in a 3D environment, and also in little race karts things. So, wow, it's really, really cool, though. I don't even know where to begin. Like everything's really good. I mean, I haven't had too many problems with the actual controls. They work fine. I mean, if you ever played anything like Crash Bandicoot or Mario Kart or something like that, you'll feel right at home with the controls and how everything works. They do keep very closely to everything that's in Little Big Planet. So, like, you get your grappling hook that you can use. The jetpacks or the speed boosts, which is pretty cool. The Kratonators, or the Weaponators that are in 2, are used as the random block thingies that give you the various weapons. It's just everything's really cool. If you played Nation Racers, I guess that's like the closest thing you can describe to what you can sort of expect, but think of that, but like improved by 10 folds, or even 20 folds, if that makes it easier to imagine folding a paper. And it just works really well. Like, I didn't really like Nation Racers because it's just something about creating your own racetracks just was really not fun. Like, you create your own, like, racetracks and whatnot. It's just like, this isn't as fun as it could be. It'd be way better if they was better. And that's basically what happens. Because this is actually done by the same studio that did Nation Racer. So, you know, creating levels and whatnot in racetracks is so much fun. It's just really easy to do, too. I mean, like I said, one of my problems with the Little Big Planet 1 and 2, when you go to create something, it's just really, like, daunting to think about, like, you know, where you start and whatnot. But here, you know, you select the thing to start paving a racetrack down, and then once you've done that, you can just start, like, throwing things in, you can start modifying it, or you can just leave it and whatnot, or you can just have a lot of fun with it. And it's so easy to make, and they even have tutorials that are narrated by Stephen Fry, so, you know, you really are able to actually make things in this, and it's really fun. But I guess my biggest problem I have with it, actually there's 2 problems I have with this game. One thing is, at the moment, as of this recording, which is a week after after the game has come out, there's no one really playing online. Oh no. Like, there's a lot of levels that have been created, but there's not a lot of people to play those levels. So usually what ends up happening is a lot of the levels that are being shown more often, like in the cool level section or the team picks, end up being ones that are created by the Little Big Planet community, which is really unfortunate, because I mean, not to say that they don't make really neat levels, because they do make neat levels, but it's makes it harder for people such as like myself, like the average gamer, or even someone else who is also the average gamer that is not the Little Big Planet community, to make their own really cool, awesome levels, but no one really sees them. And so far it seems to be like the only levels that are guaranteed to be seen are anything made by the Little Big Planet community, or tribute levels, things like Mario Kart 64. There's a ton of those already out there. And there's like one guy that's making really good ones, and everyone else is just making subpar ones. That, or if... Actually, those are the only tribute levels I've seen. I mean, someone did a Sonic Drift one, but no one really played it. Someone was doing a Crash tag team, a Crash racing one. No one really played that either. So, that's one of my grips with it. Is at the moment, really no one's playing it. So, and I think the reason is because, like I said, with Little Big Planet 1 and 2, creating a level in that is really daunting, so more people are leaning towards playing other people's levels that are really well made, opposed to here where anyone really can make their own levels because it's really that easy. So more people are just making their own little levels, so less people are actually playing them, more people are creating. And I think that's one of the big problems with it, is it's just so easy to create a level in this one compared to the main Little Big Planets, that more people are just wanting to create levels, whether they're good, bad, or whatever, instead of playing people's levels. And it's really unfortunate because when it comes to people like, I don't know, say myself, or other people who are making fantastic levels, but no one's really playing them, and it's really, for some people, it could be really discouraging, and they'd be like, oh, I guess my levels must not be all that great or anything, and it's not the case. It's just no one's really playing it, and on top of that, more people are creating than playing. And I'm pretty sure come, like, past Christmas and New Year's, and a little more into next year, especially when they come out with maybe a Game of the Year edition of this, because it's going to happen, more people will be playing it, and more people will be playing levels than creating levels, because things are going to start happening. But at the moment, it feels like it's not entirely worth it unless you really like this kind of thing. Like, I bought it because I wanted to create my own racetracks, but no one's playing them, so it sucks. So that's one of my big problems with it, multiplayer-wise. Also, playing with people online, I've never had a hard time trying to play with anyone. Like, usually when you play like something like Little Big Planet 2, it's not that difficult to find someone to play with, unless connection problems. Here, it's sort of like, I'm trying to find someone to play with, but there is no one playing this level. Actually, even weirder is after you've done the level, it'll be like, oh, let's vote on what level we should do next, which I guess makes sense. But what ends up happening is you can either replay the level you just played, obviously, play 2 levels that are made that are in the game, or play something by the Little Big Planet community. It's like, oh, what about the random level? Like, they only give you like 3 options, or replay the level, and I think that's really unfortunate, because it doesn't really give the diversity that is needed for a game like Little Big Planet, where the whole focus has always been play, create, and share. And it becomes hard to share and create when the game doesn't really advertise other people's levels. It's just, like, it would make sense if it was like, replay the level, something that was made, another level made by the person, something by the Little Big Planet community, and then a random level, just something random that maybe no one really plays, and then that would probably really help with other people playing other people's levels, and I think that would actually be a really good idea if the United Front Games and San Diego Studios is listening. It's something that they should really do. Because that's one of the only ways I can think of, other than modifying things in the search engines and whatnot, which would be even more complicated, I would assume, to get other people's levels being shown, because it's, like I said, it's really unfortunate when someone makes something really cool, but no one really plays it. And it doesn't really, because there's no way of really predicting when a good time to publish a level would be, or something like that, because it just, like, I don't know. That's just one of my biggest things with it, is you create a level, and unless you're part of the Little Big Planet, if it's not Little Big Planet community or a tribute level, no one's gonna probably play it. So, what this means, go make a tribute level and hope that somehow other people go play your other levels on your planet. That's what it seems like the only thing can really do. Which is unfortunate, because then it sort of like gets rid of the originality and creating something that's completely of your own thought and imagination, which once again is the whole point of Little Big Planet, is the originality other than the tributality. Okay, so moving along, another problem I have with this game is when you are creating levels, you can do a lot of fantastic things. And one of the really fantastic things is you can actually make jumps. So like the track will end, and then they can like jump over to another section of the track, which obviously is really cool. Problem with this though is, I don't know if this is only me, or if this has happened to other people, or if there's a certain way and I'm not doing it right, but every time I go to create a jump, and every time I go to test the jump, you would get to the other end of the jump, so you land on the track, and apparently you're out of bounds. And what ends up happening is, if you're out of bounds, your character explodes and then is respawned, which obviously cuts down on the enjoyability, obviously makes it less enjoyable, makes it less furious and fast and whatnot, how races should be. And that just blows. Another thing that I really hate, now that I'm thinking about the respawns, is if you are going the wrong way, you'll explode and respawn, which is like, oh, well, that sucks. I don't know, like, I've never seen that done in any other game. Like, if I wanted to play Mario, if I go to play Mario Kart, I could play the entire level going backwards and come in 8th place, and I'd be fine, because I'm just screwing around. Here it's like, no, we're not letting you do that. No, you can't do that. And I mean, in some cases I can see why they would do that, to keep things going forward, in a sense. But then again, when you think about it, it's like, it limits the exploration, fuck it, you know what I mean, of the levels, because people will make levels, and there's even levels within the actual game itself where exploring becomes a little bit of a key to figuring out how to get, like, prize bubbles, or, like, finding shortcuts and whatnot. And it's also really fun. I've always enjoyed exploring levels and seeing, like, the nooks and crannies and, like, what they've done and whatnot. So, and then on top of that, you can't change that when you're creating a level. You can't be like, you know, you can't be like, okay, they can respawn if they go out of bounds, but they can, you know, drive backwards all they want. I don't give a shit. You can't do that, which is unfortunate, because it sort of hinders the creativity, in, I guess, in some ways, because I personally really don't care if they go backwards. It's, you know, whatever. It's up to them. They can have fun. But it's, I don't know. It just feels very limiting. I might be the only one who's thinking that. I'm usually the only one who ever thinks about that. I should be holding this case. So yeah. Oh, another thing. as of right now, because if I recall, they said that they are going to be releasing an update too, but at the moment, as of this recording, any DLC, any of the content from 1 and 2, currently doesn't carry over at the moment to Karting, which is weird, because that's would be really cool, because I like to race in the Sonic costume, but I can't. But, so yeah, but apparently they're going to be updating it so that that's a possibility. So you can. But what's really weird is content from Karting can carry over to the Little Big Planet 2. So it's like, oh, I can play as Kevin Butler in 2, but I can't have, Cloud or Judge Dredd carry over to Karting, which sucks because I wanted to put the Hulk in a race kart. I might be crazy, but I thought that'd be really cool, and now I can't have the official Hulk costume. I'm pissed. Not really, but you get my drift. I'm making like a lot of really weird racing puns right now. If anyone gets it. But you get what I mean. Hopefully, just it once again, it limits the creativity, it limits the fun, it limits they've been doing since 2 basically, and it's just really weird that right on release date, more or less, it's so many like problems that seem to have been overlooked in some ways. I mean, the game overall, it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. Creating things is really simple and easy. But there's these problems you can't ignore, like things like people's levels will not be played as much because it's easier, and also they don't advertise it. Content's not being carried over. Little things like not being able to control the respawns to a T. Because, I mean, you can't control respawns. You can make it so, like, they always respawn, they sometimes respawn, or they don't respawn. Which I don't know, which I don't really get. I guess that means, like, you fuck up, you're game over. That's how it works. But, at least I think that is. Someone's gonna comment going, George, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. George, you're stupid. You're stupid. Sorry, I just went off a little bit there. Yeah, other than that, the game's fun. It's really interesting. Just, I think a lot of my problems I have with this game will probably be fixed by the time January comes around. When New Year's around, they've updated it. People will be playing it. Meaning more people will play levels and whatnot. Or bad news comes around saying one of the big issues, the multiplayer proportion where people don't play levels, doesn't end up getting fixed because everyone's still creating their own levels and not playing people's levels. We'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, the game's really cool and it's fun, and Stephen Fry is hilarious as always. I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to mention. Another thing I want to mention, if going into this, when I was going to play the story proportion of it, I was thinking to myself, man, I can't wait to be playing racetracks that are based off of various levels from 1 and 2, and I get to see those familiar faces and characters from 1 and 2. And upon playing it, you don't really see any of those familiar characters. I mean, I played more of 2 than 1. Or I should say, I remember 2 more than I do 1. And, it's not like you see Da Vinci or Lady Victoria. I mean, you go to like Lady Victoria's level, and you go to like the Futureplorium and Eve's Asylum and whatnot, but you don't see those characters there. You see completely different characters, and that feels like a little bit of a letdown. I mean, if you're doing that, it's like why don't they make an appearance at all in this? I would like to see Da Vinci. Also, now I'm starting to think of some problems, and it's just around story mode. Also, which is another really weird thing, is sackbots are used differently in this. I mean, in 2, you can use sackbots to create cutscenes and progress story, but in this, the Sackbots are used as a character, as a racing characters that are being occupied by players, which is weird, and which means all the cutscenes are being shown by cardboard cutouts, sort of like in Little Big Planet 1, how like all the characters were like robotic and they had the magic mouths going. In this, that's the same thing. It's almost like they went back a step, and it's like, wasn't the point of the Sackbots to make the cutscenes a little more interesting by giving the character a bit more depth and emotion, because you're using like a Sackboy layout, but Sackbot boy layout? I don't know. I guess they were thinking differently, and you know, it's a little cute to see the Sackbots there instead of like a player, but at the same time, they could have been used more effective. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I know the fucking United Kingdom studios of San Diego aren't listening to me, but you guys are listening to me, and I'm just giving you fair warnings, and maybe the message can be passed along. Because this is one of the, you know, I always complain about games with my first impressions and my reviews and whatever the fuck else I do. But it's not too often where the complaints that I make, I would really, really love to see fixed somewhere down the line. This is one of those games where I'm like wanting to be pushed that I'd like to see some of these things fixed, because whether it becomes like something in an update or like DLCs or something like that, or it's like Little Big Planet Karting 2, Sackboys are being used properly, or Sackbots are being used properly, because Sackboy is always being used. It is totally up in the air, but this is one of those few games where I'm like, these problems really should be addressed, because, like I said, my biggest problem with it is right down to it. Your levels won't be advertised or played as much, which is so unfortunate, because that just sort of destroys a lot of it. And what ends up happening is the Little Big Planet community has more levels that are being played than any other person's levels, which sucks. Really, really sucks. But I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles. And now I'm really hungry for cookies, which is unfortunate because I don't have any in my house. So, with that all said and done, Little Big Planet Karting, grab it, because I want people to be playing online. But on top of that, if you really love kart racing games like Mario Kart, like Crash Bandicoot, or like Sonic All-Stars, you will really, really love this game, because it's basically that, but Little Big Planet. So you get to create your own levels, which is really fun. It works really well here and there. You know, you got a great story. You can create your own weapons. You can create your own karts and whatnot. So it's really good. I think it's worth the money. And like I said, I can see a Game of the Year edition coming up, because they did it with 1, they did it with 2. They're going to do it with this one. It's going to have all the little DLCs on it and shit. Yeah. Fuck, I should have brought Sackboy over here with me. Anyways, until next time, keep on gaming. I'm getting Sackboy.
Oh, boy, Maggie, I like racing carts. I'm happy, or maybe apathetic. I can't tell. Or maybe I'm worried. You guys are not playing my game. Oh no. I dropped the game.